down. It glares too much.
You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that sucked. A night where the Astros feel like they should have a victory. They do not walk away with one as they fall to the Guardians in extra innings once again. Welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. I am Michael Connor, your host. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. You can, of course, also find this show anywhere that you get your podcast. Just search Locked On Astros. You will find it. But if you are new to the channel tonight, watching us live on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We would appreciate that. And we'll be here every single night when the Astros play. Frustrating. A real chance to win the fourth straight baseball game for this team. Of course, this is a team that's trying to fight back out of the just absolutely brutal start that they've had to the season. The loss tonight, unfortunately, drops you back to 10 games under 500, 10-20. And every day you keep, adding losses to it, where you're not getting closer. Because unfortunately, where the team is at, they're going to have to go on a lengthy winning streak at some point. Today's episode, by the way, is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. So to me, the sticking point of this game tonight is the eighth inning. I just don't think that there's any other way to get after it. They had a real opportunity to go win the baseball game. And, you get Dubon up there on second base. And Altuve, he records an out, yes. But he advances him to third, and you've got a runner 90 feet away with one out in the inning. And that has the opportunity to put you up there 3-2. And this has kind of been the story of his season so far. Of course, there's other missed opportunities throughout the game. Tristan McKenzie was pretty darn good tonight for Cleveland. He's always seemed to have a little bit of the Astros number. I know they've had some success against him, but I meant to go back and look at, I think it was the Sunday game they played against him a couple of years ago, and it was like an early morning game on Peacock at the time. And he just destroyed the Astros that day. But Bregman's story of the season really has been a lot of that. And it's not been just him, of course, that's had issues with runners in scoring position. The team in general has been not good. I mean, look, Altuve tonight got his first hit of the season with runners in scoring position. I mean, it's May 1st, and that guy's been unbelievable this season. It took him all the way until May 1st to get that opportunity. Now, he doesn't get as many opportunities with runners out there in scoring position because he hits, leadoff, and the bottom of the order so often is not going out there and getting on base in front of him. But when you're Alex Bregman in that spot, and they have you in the 2-hole, which we all know is one of those spots that, they always say in today's baseball, you hit your best hitter number 2 because you want to get him there most at bats. You get the leadoff guy on in front of him, hopefully drive him in or whatever it is that you're going to do for for whatever team that you have out there. We saw Jordan out there for a long time. I know that they're trying to get Bregman going because, I know that we're going to get caught up in this entire show is not going to be about Alex Bregman. But again, to me, I thought that the biggest narrative of the game tonight that I walked away with was that moment, that at bat. It was just really bad. And I think it's been one of the things, whether it's pressing or just not doing as well as he should. He gets down in counts, I feel like, more than I can ever remember. Now, his strikeout numbers aren't excessive. He had a bad strikeout night tonight. But, you're in that spot, and it's easy to – I get it. It's easy to sit here as me, say it, and to go execute as a Major League Baseball player. It's still difficult. We always, we look at it through the Astros lens whenever we're talking about these things, but you also have to look at it through the lens of the opposing player. Like, sometimes the pitchers do go out there and execute, and there's honestly nothing that you're going to be able to do other than recording out. That's not helpful. But the last thing that you can do in that situation is put it in play where it's popped up in the infield. And he's had a lot of that this season. I mean, the numbers bear it out. His pop-out rates are incredible. His rollover rates are incredible. He's just not clutch. And, I know that you need to get the player going. You need to get the player going. You need to get the player going because he is a key part of them turning this thing around if they're going to play it, if they're going to do it. But, I mean, hell, look how deep into the season now you're getting. And I mentioned this, the record now 10-20. Think about that. We've been sitting here. We've watched 30 games already. We've watched 30. Like that. There's before you know it, this thing's going to creep up on the middle of the summer with us. Now, it's not going to feel that way because RIP to all of us in the city of Houston. We've got a long summer ahead of us, I'm sure, of stupid heat, so it's going to be nice and slow. But baseball-wise, schedule-wise, it's going to happen quickly. And with them being in this spot, now the question would be, who do you replace him with, whatever. I think Jeremy Payne is probably the logical answer there. I've hit the stage where, you can't keep putting your team in spots where, it could end up hurting you to win baseball games and having a guy like Alex Bregman out there in that kind of spot. I just think, period, the results aren't there. The numbers aren't there. It's probably time to put someone else in that position. Maybe it is Jeremy Pena. Maybe it's I don't think it's Yainer Diaz, but it's somebody that's going to make some contact in those kind of spots. Maybe you go back to the Jordan thing, and then you just kind of switch up the lineup from there. I don't know that I necessarily love the thought of Alex Bregman hitting fourth. Maybe Kyle Tucker sticks in the 4 hole. You put Alex Bregman in 3. I don't know. I'm just trying to think these things out. But there's a lot of telling points of this game tonight. The offense, look, it went back to 2023 form where they would go out and score 10-plus runs in a game one night and come right back the next night and just shrivel up. And they shriveled up tonight. And, again, you have to take your cap and tip it to McKenzie for going out there and doing what he did. And that's a good question. Dubon in the second hole. I don't think that – and I'm just looking at – I try to keep up with you guys' comments, so, keep sending them in there. Dubon's just never going to play every day. I do think that when he's in there, it's not a bad idea by any means. I was Mauricio Dubon's number one hater when he got to the Astros and played as much as he did that first year. But you know what? I owe James Click an apology like I owe him an apology for a lot of things. He knew what he was doing with that guy. He's been awesome the last couple of years. He really is an important piece to this baseball team. And, if he was going to play every day, yeah, I'd take a look at him in the 2-hole. I'd have absolutely no problem with it. He makes contact. He puts good at-bats together. I just don't think I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world if you were to get Mauricio Dubon some looks up there. But, again, tough loss tonight. And, you didn't expect at all you didn't expect the fact that you'd be sitting here probably talking about this given the way that it was looking there in that 8th inning. But that's Astros baseball this year, a game of missed opportunities. If it's not one thing, it has been another the entire season. And tonight, the other was the bats not doing anything at all. We've got plenty more to get to. I do want to give some praise to Justin Verlander, who has continued to look very strong in his return since the coming back from the injured list. But, of course, I have to first bring you a few quick messages. Right now, I want to remind you that, hey, you know what? Mother's Day is coming up. You like me? Do some shopping recently? Well, guess what? We're going to want some last-minute gifts as well. And you want to make Mom smile, start Mother's Day with flowers or surprise her with the gifts from the brand she loves delivered the very same day with DoorDash. Does she have a sweet tooth? Is she a tech enthusiast, a beauty connoisseur, or is she outdoorsy? No matter what she's into, you can make her smile with a fruit or flower bouquet, makeup, tech gear, workout wear, and more. Get thoughtful gifts she deserves with the convenience you need. Choose same-day delivery or a week ahead for when the flowers and gifts should arrive. with DoorDash. Don't forget to pair those flowers with gift cards so she can celebrate any way she wants. Maybe she's a bookworm. Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Get a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15+ on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order. Now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. And right now, before we get back to our Astros discussion, I want to also tell you about PrizePicks. Have you played PrizePicks yet? If not, what are you waiting for? I play PrizePicks almost every single night. It brings a lot of excitement to sports in general. I got some NBA action going on all the time. I've been a big fan of the NBA PrizePicks. NFL season, a lot of fun too. College football, you bet. I'm a big soccer guy. I'm going to be sitting back watching my club Chelsea tomorrow. I need to get on there and see if I got some PrizePicks for my squad over there in London tomorrow. But PrizePicks is going to make the games more fun when you have the more or less going every single day. I've been testing those skills on PrizePicks this baseball season, and it is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $100 in just a few taps. PrizePicks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download that app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. And welcome back to the Locked On Astros Postcast here on YouTube. And if you're watching, I'm sorry I keep touching my nose. I have a hair in my mustache that keeps poking me right in the nose. That's how tonight's gone. The Astros have lost, and I'm getting poked in the nose by a hair from my mustache. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Astros baseball in 2024. Thank you for joining us live on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. You guys have made the channel a lot of fun to build out. Let's keep it going. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel as well. I do appreciate it. Share it with everybody you know. Just share. Send it. That's if you want to tell me that you enjoy this show, do me a favor tonight by sending the link to this channel to 5 friends. You can do it now. You can do it after the show, whenever. I'll greatly appreciate it. You can also listen to this podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. Search Locked On Astros, and you will get that for free. You'll get this show and the Locked On Astros show with Brett and Eric. They do a great job as well. So you get 2 Astros, all the Astros content you need right here, courtesy of Locked On and this channel, Locked On Sports Houston. Don't forget, of course, we also have other channels as well. When we get to other seasons, this channel will also feature Locked On Rockets Postcast, Locked On Texans Postcast, Locked On Cougs Postcast. And then on top of that, like the Astros guys, there is a Locked On show for all of those channels as well, whether it's Texans, Rockets, Cougs. Go check them all out. Subscribe to all of them. Download the podcast. Do it all. Listen to all of us. We would greatly appreciate it because we're covering everything Houston for you here on Locked On. Astros tonight with the loss in extra innings sucks. And you hate it on these nights. This has now happened a couple of times. Well, I shouldn't say happened a couple of times, but last time out he didn't go far enough to factor into the decision. But you don't get anything for Justin Verlander tonight, and overall he was really good. Didn't strike out a lot of guys. I mean, did have 3 walks, which, that's un-Verlander-like, but 7 innings, a 2-run ball, 6 hits, 2 strikeouts, 3 walks. Of course, in Verlander fashion, gave up a solo home run. But, I mean, just really solid. Kept the pitch count down all night. That last inning threw 6 pitches. Kept his pitch count under 100 for the night. I've been really impressed with what we've seen out of him so far. I don't think that the command is all the way there, if he was going to be honest with you, a lot of times on a lot of things. I think his breaking ball command looks like it's probably a little bit ahead of the fastball command right now. But I think that's to be expected when you are coming back from, injury and not pitching for a long period of time, kind of like he did there or I shouldn't say not pitching, but building back up. So, he's pitched like the ace that the Astros have needed him to be, and that's a very encouraging sign. And, I'm trying to still remain optimistic. I've said it that, I don't think based on the way that this season started, and look, again, it's 30 games in, and the math tells you and the history of the sport tells you that nobody's really ever done this when they've started off this poorly. I know that we could go back to the 2005 Astros who were 15-30. And there is the benefit of this baseball team playing in a world now where, there are more playoff teams than ever. There's 3 wild card teams. So they're not dead. And real quick standings update as I hit refresh on my standings page. The Astros are, why is MLB.com taking forever? They're 6.5 out in the division, 7.5 of a wild card. That's where it starts to get late early. You're 30 games in, and you're 7.5 out of a wild card spot, and you're that far out of the division. And kind of based on the way that this team's played this year, I don't think that your realistic goal is looking at the division at this point. You got to fight for one of the 3 spots that are available. And the division is not even good. You're closer in the division, but there's just more opportunity to win a wild card spot than there is a division title. So that's where I'm at this point if they're going to really turn this thing around. But, you got Verlander back, and like I said, he's pitched like the ace that you needed him to. You gave up a lot to get him back. I'm still not all that happy about that trade. I think it was a bad decision in the first place not to just pay him the money that you wanted to pay and keep him. You could have done? Not signed Rafael Montero and not signed Jose Abreu and just paid Justin Verlander $40-something million a year and kept him, and then also kept your top 2 prospects. But hey, you know what? Not that big of a deal. Whatever. Let Jeff Bagwell make the decisions in the offseason. Screw letting your GM, who just won a World Series, walk. Not even walk, let him go. Can you tell I'm still a little bit upset about that? Just a tiny bit. It was one of the not finest moments of the Jim Crane ownership tenure. But you know what? They have Verlander back. Now, I can only live in the present. I can't change the past, obviously. They can't change the past as well. And you just have to live with what you have. And I think you're still happy with what you have in the pitcher that's out there. The further along this season gets, I think that if they continue down this road, the questions will pop up externally of will he be shopped? And I think given his age that, if he does pitch this well and the team does continue to not show signs of getting out of it, there would be teams that would want his services and would, like the Astros probably, given also that they don't owe him a lot of money for the rest of this year and his option would vest for next year at 140 innings, and they wouldn't owe him a lot of money because the Mets are paying a ton of that money, to where I think you'd have quite a few teams line up to give at least a decent, a really good prospect probably to get Justin Verlander. But I'm not wanting to live in that world personally. And I said this the last time that he pitched, and I'm going to say it again because I mean it. I try to soak in as a fan every time that we get to watch him throw. He's a different guy than what he was when he got here in 2017 in terms of how he executes and gets through outings. I think that's an encouraging thing. And, you always wonder about how far these guys can go before Father Time hits them. And Verlander's been a guy that's been very open for a long period of time that he's going to pitch, well into his 40s. And I think 45 has been the number that he's mentioned before. And you can really see that it's not a crazy thought with a man like that because of his, ability to evolve as a starting pitcher. And I think we're kind of seeing that now. He's not he can still reach back and get the power. I mean, they had pitches, tonight they were popping 96. He can still get it when he needs to, but he doesn't have to live with that. He's always had a fastball that is deceiving to a big league hitter that looks like it's going up when it's never going up. A pitch will never go up because gravity won't allow that. But you get enough spin on it to where it appears that it's doing that and you get swings under it. And Verlander's always been that guy, and he can still be that guy. You saw earlier, there was somebody in the first inning. He threw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and got a complete swing under the pitch. So it's still a good pitch for him. I've been very excited about the fact, again, that he's willing to adapt and change to what he is at as his stage of his career now. The changeup he's utilizing quite a bit, and I think that's a good thing. Because you get the same arm action as you do with a fastball, and it just comes out of the hand a lot slower, and it throws the hitter off. And, I think it's like you were seeing it with Ronel Blanco as well. It's going to be a lethal pitch for him this season. The slider has looked pretty good. The command, I think, of the secondary stuff has been really what stood out to me. It's been very crisp, and I think the walk numbers will probably come back down. He's not going to be the guy. Now, look. I'm not accusing him. I'm just saying, like the 2019 season where he and Garrett Cole battled each other all year, where he struck out 300 and Cole struck out like 326. And Verlander walked like 30 guys, or maybe not even 30 guys that season. We lived in a spider attack era, or a sticky substance era. Everybody was doing something. So he's probably never going to be that guy again, but he's not like he's always going to be the top of the league. He's not going to be a huge walk guy. So I'm not overly concerned about the fact that he's walked a few guys in the last couple of starts. That's okay. I think they'll figure it out. Tomorrow, is it the dreaded debate of it being a must-win? We will discuss next. But I need to tell you about one more thing, and that is my competitive side. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that, but there is just so much good in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you can work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. Whether it's unique stickers you can trade with your friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. There's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go, so get off the bench and go download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. All right, the Locked On Astros Postcast. And again, thank you for joining us tonight. If this is your first time visiting us live on the YouTube page, please hit the subscribe button. I'd offer you something. How about this? You guys hit the subscribe button, and if we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll do the show shirtless. I don't know if that's something you want to see or not, but I'm just trying to think of things I can offer you. But again, thank you for watching tonight and joining us. You can find this show anywhere that you get your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros, and you will get this show plus the Locked On Astros show as well, 2 for the price of 1, and it's absolutely free. So I'm going to do an old radio trick that we would do forever. Who doesn't love to do an old radio trick? And it's in the middle of the season. And you say, is tomorrow a must-win? It's the final game of this series against Cleveland off of a tough loss tonight. I'm going to say it right now. For me, tomorrow night's a must-win because you dropped one back. You want to get that game back before you have to play the division leader in the American League West, the Seattle Mariners, coming to town this weekend. I think tonight or tomorrow night, must-win for the Astros. Am I wrong? Is it a must-win? You can comment in the comments section there. Tell me if it's a must-win or not. But I just feel like they're at that stage where they can't keep losing series, and I think that's what it gets back to. And we've kind of gone through the schedule a few times we've done these shows, but again, let's just run through the month of May. What's left? Well, I say what's left of it. We've played one day. The one game against Cleveland. Then the Mariners are in town. Then they go to New York to play the Yankees for 3, and then they're at Detroit. And Detroit's actually been sneakily good this year. Then they got to come home and play Oakland. Oakland keeps winning. Oakland's only 2 games under 500. Brewers at home, Angels at home. They lost Mike Trout, so they're done forever. At the A's, at the Mariners, then they start a series against the Twins. This is a tough month, and this is going to be, to me, the month that is going to dictate whether they can pull off this miraculous comeback or not. If they have a average 500 month, and to the last comment there, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Uncle KRV, I actually am wearing pants. The room that I do this show from in my house is freezing cold, and I actually am wrapped up in a blanket. So that's how I'm doing right now. But, I think that if you go through this month of May and you play like 500 baseball for the month, that you're not getting out of this. You have to have a winning month. And really, I mean, look, if you still have your eyes set, which they do, on winning the AL West, you're not going to do that unless you beat up on Seattle. And that's something that they've done typically throughout the years, is beat up on the Mariners. And again, guess what? You play these teams 13 times a year in your division. 13. And in this month, you have 7 games against Seattle, and you have 7 games against Oakland. You better feast in these spots. I mean, just as simple. You cannot go through this month and just slap it around like you've done against other teams. Good news, I mean, they've won more than they've lost against the Rangers so far, but you need to own every single team. And if you can do that, if you can own every team in your division and do what the Astros typically do, which is beat up on the AL Central when they play those teams, I'll believe that you can do it. But again, if they just fart around this month and hover, somewhere between 5 and 10 games under 500, and it's just looking a lot like the same, I'm probably still going to not think that this thing is happening. And I hate to be that way, but I just think that, unfortunately, they've just kind of showed us who they are. So again, I'm going to sit here and say that, yes, tomorrow, Cleveland, final game of this series, 7:10 first pitch, by the way. We don't have the typical getaway day 110er tomorrow, which selfishly, I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I was kind of hoping that they'd play a 110 game tomorrow when I looked at the schedule, and I go, oh, it's a 7:10? I'll be sitting around the house tomorrow all by myself. Like, I need some day baseball, but I don't get day baseball tomorrow. But they need that one tomorrow. I think they need it in the worst way possible before the Mariners get to town. The good news is that when the Mariners come to town this weekend, sounds like Christian Javier is going to be good to go for a start. And by the way, tomorrow night, Spencer Arrighetti, is 0-3 in 3 starts. We'll see how that goes for him. I'm still hopeful for his career, but I'm not hopeful that he's going to win baseball games this season based on the way that he's going. Just as simple as that. So, of course, after the game tomorrow night, we will again do this show, the Locked On Astros Postcast, because, well, we're here with you almost every single night. We will have a conflict coming up. I think it was this Sunday. I will not do this Sunday. It's going to be the first game that we will miss since we've done this, but that's okay. Don't worry. That's not going to happen very often. I appreciate all of you that join us, of course, live on YouTube. Share it with everybody that you know. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the page, or if you know somebody that's going to the page, tell them to hit the subscribe button. And again, find it anywhere that you get your podcast. Search Locked On Astros. You'll find this show and the Locked On Astros show right there, and it is free, again, wherever you get your podcast. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Talk to you tomorrow night after a series win against Cleveland. Boy, I hope. See you then.